In biotech, it's exactly the other way around. If you had come up with a new medicine and said, this cures cancer, it's awesome, you can't just go sell it in the supermarket.
The Munk Debate focused on AI safety, and it was absolutely extraordinary.
Claiming that AI is an existential threat is itself harmful. It misleads people about the current state and likely future of AI.
I've been excited to put together this show for some time now. It's spicy. Apologize, I'm going to be cursing more in this show than I normally would.
Such sensationalist claims deflect attention from real immediate risks.
One set of emotions that we can hardwire into them is subservience.
The most flamboyantly obnoxious, cavalier, shit on my leg and tell me it's raining, I'm going to cheer as the world ends, risk means nothing to me, fuck your kid's future lunatic, is the director of AI research at Meta. His name is Yann Lecun.
Of course, if it's not safe, we're not going to build it, right? I mean, will you build a bomb that just blows up randomly? No, right?
If it's not safe, we're not going to build it. What a total load of shit. How the fuck would you know if it's not safe until it's too late to stop it? That's the whole fundamental fucking problem with this situation. Welcome to For Humanity, an AI Safety Podcast, Episode 6, The Munk Debate. I'm John Sherman, your host. Thanks so much for joining me. This is the AI Safety Podcast for the general public. No tech background required. This show is exclusively about the threat of human extinction from artificial intelligence. Please, right now, if you would, hit like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't hit it already. Repost these videos on your personal social channels, and please tell people about this show. Those are some ways that we can help spread the word about these issues. Last week, I challenged you to convince someone in your life that the risk of human extinction from artificial intelligence is an issue that requires their attention. This week, I want to go one further and challenge you again. This week, I want to challenge you to talk to someone about these issues that is totally outside of this debate, someone that has no clue that AI is a threat to them. Here's an easy place, I think, to start. Every mom and dad out there needs to know about this. Moms and dads, fellow moms and dads, AI is the biggest threat to our children in the short term. It's not fentanyl. It's not some creeper in the park. It's not drunk driving. AI is the biggest short-term threat to our children. Parents will do anything for their kids. So let's start with parents. Maybe this can be their wake-up call. I have been genuinely encouraged by the reaction I've been getting to the show online and in person, but we can get this message out much further. And if you like what I'm doing, I'm asking you to step out of your comfort zone, share this very serious, very unsettling news with someone you know. I'm going to tell you something. It is not going to be a fun experience. It sucks to be talking about this stuff. I want you to know that I hate sitting here and talking about this stuff as much as you probably do sitting there and hearing it. It fucking sucks. It unthinkably, absolutely fucking sucks to seriously talking about human extinction. But we are really threatened by AI killing all humans in as soon as 2 years. That is not hyperbole. That is literally what the AI companies and AI safety experts are openly admitting and telling us. So I can't just go about my normal life anymore. And if you believe what I've been telling you and what they've been telling you, you really can't either. So I'm going to sit here every week and try to get the word out. And I need your help, and I need the help of everyone you know. What if 1 year from today, everyone on Earth was of the understanding that AI is a lethal threat to their family, to their children, to their children's yet unborn children, to every living thing on Earth. In just a minute, we'll get today's show going, and I think you're going to really love it. I've been excited to put together this show for some time now. It's spicy. Apologize. I'm going to be cursing more in this show than I normally would. But first, I want you to hear from some important people in the news who are openly, recently discussing totally unthinkable things about artificial intelligence. So, PDOOM is a technical term used for the percentage chance we all die. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei recently put it at 10 to 25%. AI safety research king Eliezer Yudkowsky puts it at 98%. In the last week or so in the news, enter Lecun, the chairman of the Federal Trade Commission, who made news recently by dropping her own personal PDOOM, the percentage chance we all die from AI.
What is your PDOOM, Lecun? What is your probability that AI will kill us all?
I have to stay an optimist on this one, so I'm going to hedge on the side of lower risk there.
So are you 0?
No, not 0. Maybe like 15%.
Oh, all right. Yeah,
and they say there are no techno-optimists in the government.
This is a very high-ranking U.S. government official. Did she go running back to her office and say, stop everything, we have to do something about this? No, not at all. Somehow, a 15% chance of every last human on Earth being murdered by AI is somehow acceptable. This is the cost of doing business? There is no fucking business if we're all dead. There was a ton of drama at OpenAI recently, as I'm sure you know. It seems very clear that money and speed won and safety lost. But for 3 days, OpenAI had an interim CEO named Emmett Shear, the former CEO of Twitch. This is an important Silicon Valley leader who clearly gets this stuff. Listen.
Generally, I'm very pro-technology, and I really believe the upsides usually outweigh the downsides. Every technology can be misused. Regulating early is usually a mistake. I have a very specific concern about AI. We built an intelligence. It's kind of amazing, actually. It may not be the smartest intelligence, but it is an intelligence. It can solve problems and make arbitrary plans. At some point, as it gets better, the kinds of problems it will be able to solve will include programming, chip design, material science, power production, all of the things you would need to design an artificial intelligence. At that point, you will be able to point the thing we've built back at itself. And this will happen before you get that point with humans in the loop. It already is happening with humans in the loop. But that loop will get tighter and tighter and tighter and faster and faster and faster until it can fully self-improve itself, at which point it will get very fast, very quickly. And that kind of intelligence is just an intrinsically very dangerous thing because intelligence is power. Human beings are the dominant form of life on this planet pretty much entirely because we're smarter than the other creatures. Now, I just laid out a chain of argument with a lot of if this, then this, if this, then this, if this, then this. I know Eliezer thinks that like we're all doomed for sure. I buy his doom argument. I buy the chain and the logic. Like my P-doom, my probability of doom is like my bid-ask spread, and that's pretty high because I have a lot of uncertainty, but I would say it's like between like 5 and 50. So there's a wide spread.
Which I think Paul Cristiano,
50,
Paul Cristiano, who handled, a lot of the stuff within OpenAI, I think said 25 to 50. It seems like if you talk to most AI researchers, there's some preponderance of people that give some percentage.
That should cause you to shit your pants.
I think it's important for you to hear just how little of a secret the existential threat we face is. This is not fringe conspiracy shit in any way. This is not opinion. I'm just connecting the dots of the facts that the makers of AI and many others are laying out there, openly saying. So, on to today's show. All right. Wouldn't it be great if AI safety was substantively debated on American television every night? Talk about everything else under the sun, so much crap. Wouldn't it be great if we talked about really the important things? Well, in Toronto, there's a wonderful organization that runs what's called the Munk Debates. They're a series of exceptionally well-done televised debates on a wide variety of topics affecting public life. The Munk Debate focused on AI safety, and it was absolutely extraordinary. Each debate is framed around a single statement, and it's 2-on-2, pro versus con. The statement for the AI safety debate was, "Be it resolved, AI research and development poses an existential threat." Be it resolved, AI research and development poses an existential threat. Well, as you should know from watching this show For Humanity, that statement should not be controversial. It is a widely accepted fact in most circles. It's something nearly everyone who's anyone in big AI signed a statement saying that AI is an existential threat along the lines of pandemic and nuclear war. So the whole premise of this debate is something nearly the whole industry already concedes, but not everyone. Not nearly, sadly. For my non-tech audience out there, it may shock you to know that there is a small but extremely powerful group of people in Silicon Valley who call themselves effective accelerationists. They believe that we will solve humanity's problems by racing towards technological advances. For the purpose of this show, we're just going to call them accelerationists. Since I opened the For Humanity X account more than a month ago, I've been in there mixing it up with a lot of people, and I have gotten a real palpable sense of these folks and their attitudes. This is my personal opinion. They're obnoxious. They're bullies. They're know-it-alls of the worst kind. And they somehow have the audacity and arrogance to believe that you and I and everyone else on Earth has given them permission to risk ending the future for our families forever. They believe we've authorized this. But their desire to accelerate technology affects everyone, not just them. So the single biggest asshole among them, the most flamboyantly obnoxious, cavalier, shit on my leg and tell me it's raining, I'm going to cheer as the world ends, risk means nothing to me, fuck your kid's future, lunatic, is the director of AI research at Meta. His name is Yann Lecun. He's French. And that kind of kills me because I love the French, and hearing him say all this bullshit in that beautiful French accent makes it even more painful. Yann is one half of Team Khan in the Munk Debate on AI safety. Listen closely as you hear him speak. You'll hear no specifics. He's going to tell you that something much smarter than a human is going to be subservient to humans. Ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, presenting the one and only Yann Lecun.
Those systems are controllable. They can be made safe as long as we implement the safety objectives. And the surprising thing is that they will have emotions. They will have empathy. They will have all the things that we require entities in the world to have if we want them to behave properly. So I do not believe that we can achieve anything close to human-level intelligence without endowing AI systems with this kind of emotions, similar to human emotions. This will be the way to control them. Now, one set of emotions that we can hardwire into them is subservience. So I have a positive view, as you can tell, and I think there is a very efficient way or good way of making AI systems safe. It's going to be arduous engineering, just like making turbojets safe. It took decades. And it's hard engineering, but it's doable.
Just like making a turbojet, says Yann Lecun. That is deliberately misleading. Giving them emotions will allow us to control them, says Yann Lecun. That is incredibly optimistic speculation at best. We can hardwire them into subservience, says Yann Lecun. That is simply ridiculous to claim. We might be able to do that, as many safety researchers say, though, that we won't. But even those who say we might be able to make them subservient says it would take decades, like 3 to 5 decades, to do the research to figure out how to do that. And as you know, the timeline is 2 to 10 years for AGI, the singularity, and the unknown future after that. These two timelines are catastrophically misaligned. But let's get back to the debate. So Yann's tag team partner is Melanie Mitchell. She has been working on AI research since the 1980s as a college student. I will let Melanie Mitchell introduce herself, but I will say, holy shit, she is wild. She's pissed off we're even talking about existential risk.
First, I'll argue that the possible scenarios that people have dreamed up for AI existential threats are all based on unfounded speculations rather than on science or empirical evidence. Second, while we can all acknowledge that AI presents many risks and harms, none of them rise to the extreme level of existential. Saying that AI literally threatens human extinction sets a very high bar. Finally, claiming that AI is an existential threat is itself harmful. It misleads people about the current state and likely future of AI. Such sensationalist claims deflect attention from real immediate risks, and further might result in blocking the potential benefits that we could reap from technological progress.
Holy fucking hell. All right, so I have not done a great job in the first 5 shows of letting you hear from the other side of this debate, but that's going to change right now. I haven't really included the other side of the AI safety debate so far because objectively, I find their case so incredibly weak. But you're going to need to make up your own mind on this. So today we're going to show you a lot of Yann and Melanie, team acceleration, team we're willing to risk whether your kids get to have kids, and we're going to do so without even attempting to gain your consent. Here's some more of Yann Lecun laying out his case as to why AI is in no way a threat of human extinction. I hope you'll enjoy, as I do, when the Munk Debate's moderator jumps in to correct the completely disingenuous, misleading frame that Yann puts around the question of why an AI system would cause human extinction. As you well know by now, human extinction would not come from an AI system with a desire to arbitrarily dominate. These systems won't be mad at us or vindictive. AI safety experts believe they will just have different goals than ours. But here's Yann spinning his deceptive case and getting called on it.
Because we are social animals, we're a social species, and nature has evolved us to organize ourselves hierarchically, like baboons, like chimpanzees. Not orangutan. Orangutans have no desire to dominate anybody because they're not a social species. So this desire to dominate has nothing to do with intelligence. They're almost as smart as we are, by the way. So this has nothing to do with intelligence. We can make intelligent machines that are superior to us, but have no desire to dominate. I lead a research lab. I only hire people who are smarter than me. None of them want my job. Now,
but Yann, isn't just second point, just to be fair to the other side of the debate, because it's something I think the audience would appreciate understanding. It's not so much the desire to dominate, it's the control problem. It's that you've set them some goals, maybe very noble and great goals, but they start doing other things to achieve those goals which are antithetical to our interests. It's not that they're trying to dominate, it's that there is a tragedy of the commons that goes on.
It's the same thing with this companies. Is the goal alignment problem. So how do we design goals for machines so that they behave properly? And again, this is something that's, a difficult engineering problem, but this is not a problem that we are unfamiliar with because as societies, we've been doing this for millennia. This is called making laws.
Sure, we'll just make some laws. Problem solved. We've been solving problems like this for millennia. No, we have not. No problem ever before in our past is in any way like the challenge of artificial intelligence. But don't worry, I don't have to make the counter-arguments. We have an all-star duo on the other side of this debate. Please say hello to our old friend and powerhouse AI safety researcher, MIT professor, Max Tegmark.
Back in the Stone Age with a rock, maybe someone could kill 5 people. 300 years ago with a bomb, maybe 100 people. In 1945, with a couple of nukes, 250,000 people. With bioweapons, even more. With nuclear winter, according to a recent Science article, over 5 billion people. So now the blast radius has risen up to about 60% of humanity. And since, as we'll argue, superhuman intelligence is going to be way more powerful than any of this, its blast radius can easily be 100% of humanity, giving it the potential power to really wipe us out.
Again, this is different than anything else ever before. Nuclear bombs cannot make more nuclear bombs by themselves. Nuclear bombs cannot decide to detonate themselves at a location and time of their choosing. This is different than anything else ever before. Max, please, tell the people.
It can do all the intelligent things that we humans can do, just better. For example, it can do goal-oriented behavior. It can persuade, manipulate, hire people, start companies, build robots, do scientific research. It could, for example, research how to make more powerful bioweapons or how to make even more intelligent systems so it could recursively self-improve itself. It also could do things that we humans cannot do at all. It could very easily make copies of itself. So if you imagine for a moment a superhuman AI that can think, say 1,000 times faster than a human researcher, so it can in 9 hours do a year's worth of research. But now instead think of 1 million of those, a swarm of 1 million super intelligent AIs, where as soon as one of them discovers something new, it can instantly share that new skill with all of them. That's the kind of power we're talking about here. And finally, superhuman AI will probably be a very alien kind of intelligence that lacks anything like human emotions or empathy.
I could listen to Max Tegmark talk all day. I really hope to have him on this show sometime in the near future.
In biotech, it's exactly the other way around. If you had come up with a new medicine, you'd say, this cures cancer, it's awesome. You can't just go sell it in the supermarket until someone proves it is there. It's your job to convince the Food and Drug Administration, the US, or the Canadian authorities, or whatever, that this is safe and that the benefits, yes, the benefits outweigh the risks. It should be the responsibility of the companies that to first prove that this is safe before it gets deployed. We need to become like biotech.
In this Munk debate, Max is hardly alone. This is kind of fun, got a little bit of soap opera drama for you. So the highest prize in computer science is called the Turing Award, named after Alan Turing, the father of AI, who we talked about a little bit last week. In 2018, the Turing Award went to 3 AI researchers for their breakthrough work on neural networks and artificial intelligence, which was one of the 2 major advancements in AI that got us to where we are today. The 3 Turing Award winners in 2018 were Geoffrey Hinton, who you've met in previous shows, who quit Google famously to voice his concerns about AGI and human extinction. The other 2 winners were 2 of his former students from the University of Toronto. So on our stage at the Munk debate, we have 2 of those former students, the 2 former students who won the Turing Award with Professor Hinton. One of them is Yann Lecun. He now says his old mentor and professor Geoffrey Hinton is a doomer. who's totally wrong about AI risk. The other of Professor Hinton's old students is Max's teammate for the debate, AI researcher Yoshua Bengio.
Once we have machines that have a self-preservation goal, well, we are in trouble. Think about what happens when you want to survive. You don't want others to turn you off, right? And you need to be able to control your environment, which means control humans. So existential risk isn't just, well, we all disappear. It might be that we're all disempowered, that we are not anymore in the control of our destiny. And I don't think this is something we want.
Not extinct, but not in charge. That is not something we want at all. But this debate, just like this show, we're going to focus only on human extinction risk. Yann Lecun thinks there's no extinction risk at all. Watch as he mocks this grave concern as mere science fiction and marvel as he backs up his bold claims with absolutely nothing.
Science fiction scenarios of, the Earth being wiped out, humanity being wiped out. This sounds like a James Bond movie, right? It's like the super villain who goes in space and then, kind of puts some deadly gas and eliminates all of humanity. It's a James Bond movie. And I can't disprove it. The same way, if I tell you, I use the Bertrand Russell idea, if I tell you there is a teapot flying between the orbits of Jupiter and Saturn, you're going to tell me I'm crazy, but you can't disprove me, right? You can't disprove that assertion. It's going to cost you a huge amount of resources to do this. So it's kind of the same thing with those doom scenarios. They're sci-fi, but I can't prove that they're wrong. But the risk is negligible, and the reason it's negligible of extinction is because we build those things. We build them. We have agency. This is not superhuman intelligence. It's not something that's going to just happen. And so, of course, if it's not safe, we're not going to build it, right? Would you build a bomb that just blows up randomly? No, right?
If it's not safe, we're not going to build it. What a total load of shit. How the fuck would you know if it's not safe until it's too late to stop it? That's the whole fundamental fucking problem with this situation. But Yann, you know this much better than I do. So seriously, this is it, right? It would be reasonable after watching the first 5 episodes of this podcast to say, I'd like to hear more from the other side about this. So this is your chance to evaluate the strength of their logic. I went into this hoping to be persuaded by them, hoping to be persuaded that everything is fine. But now it's your turn. Let's do a little Yann and Max Munk Debate soundbite ping pong, and then you decide for yourself if you think everything is just fine.
Remember what people were saying just before year 2000? Satellites were going to fall out of the sky and crash into cities, and the phone system was going to crash and civilization will end. It didn't happen. We're still here. So I think there's a little bit of the same kind of feeling of uncertainty. A lot of people have the feeling that bad things are going to happen because they're not in control. They have the feeling that AI is just going to happen and there's nothing they can do about it, and that creates fear. And I can completely understand that. But so some of us, in what could be construed as a driver's seat, there are plans to make those things safe.
Stock traders will tell you that past performance is not an indicator of future performance.
Future results.
Yeah, future results. And it would be a huge mistake in an exponential technological growth to assume that just because something happened one way in the past, it's going to continue being this way.
AI is going to be subservient to human. It's going to be smarter than us, but it's not going to reduce our agency. On the contrary, it's going to empower us. It's like having a staff of really smart people working for you.
It's naive to think that just because you make something smart, it's only going to suddenly care about humans. Ask some woolly mammoths if they feel so reassured that we're smarter than them. Then therefore we would automatically adopt mammoth ethics and do things that were good for the mammoths. No, we didn't, That's why you probably haven't met any.
I'll tell you what I think. I think Yann is full of shit, and Max makes all the sense in the world. I really wish it was the other way around. I really, really do. But it just isn't at all. There are some great moments in the Munk debate on AI safety where the teams really start to mix it up with each other. And there are some really incredible exchanges I want to show you. First, here are the 2018 Turing Award winners, once united by science, now divided by the potentially existential results of their work. Mixing it up. Yann Lecun goes for some classic historical comparison bullshit, and Yoshua Bengio responds with what I think is force and logic.
Socrates was against writing. He said people are going to lose their memory, right? The Catholic Church was against the printing press, saying they would lose control of the dogma, which they did. They could do nothing about it. The Ottoman Empire banned the printing press. And according to some historians, that's what accelerated their decline. And so every technology that makes people smarter or enables communication between people, facilitates education, again, is intrinsically good. And AI is kind of a new version of this. It's the new printing press.
So long as it doesn't blow up in our face. And the thing is that
you can smash your hand with a printing press, right?
Yes. The problem is the scale, right? So long as we build technologies that could be harmful, but on a small scale, the goods, the benefits overwhelm the dangers. But now we're talking, wait. Now we're talking about building technologies unlike any other technology, because it's technology that can design its own technology.
No.
Yes. No. We're talking about superhuman AI. This is the subject.
It's under our control. It's under our control, and will remain under our control. It's not. It's very much like previous technology. It's not qualitatively different.
The experts have been studying this question. Say it's going to be very hard to keep it under control, and that is why I'm here today.
Melanie Mitchell is so special. She's pissed off we're even talking about existential risks from AI. Seriously. Throughout the Munk debate, she sounds off on why it is bad for us to even talk about existential risk from AI when there are, in her eyes, so many more important, urgent threats that need our attention, such as disinformation and fake photos and videos.
It takes our attention away from some of the real immediate risks like disinformation and bias.
So are you saying it's a 0% risk, 0% existential risk? Is that your claim?
Do I think there's a 0% risk of any scenario? No, of course not.
What do you think it is then? 1%?
We're really debating. I can't put a number on it. I think it's quite low. And I think what we're debating, is there a reasonable existential risk, a risk of end of civilization in the reasonable future? Otherwise, we wouldn't be up here to.
How high is?
I'm not going to say 0.0000001. I mean, I can't say that.
How high is too high for you then?
How high is?
How high a probability of existential risk is too high for you?
I don't think we can put a probability on it. We don't know. We don't know enough.
No,
it's the same as.
Okay, it's lower than the Earth being wiped out by a meteor. And by the way, AI can help with that problem.
This is the essential question for anyone who wants to accelerate artificial intelligence. What percentage existential risk to humans is acceptable to you? In my opinion, when you are talking about a potential future with 0 human beings, the only acceptable risk percentage is also 0. Here are the 2 former award-winning partners, now on opposite sides of the question of, don't you just need some good guys with good AI to beat some bad guys with bad AI? Decide for yourself if you think Yann Lecun is being appropriately optimistic or stunningly blind.
Bad guys can use AI for bad things. there's many more good guys who can use the same more powerful AI to counteract it.
Right.
So in the end,
The good guys are going to win. Sometimes the attacker has the advantage.
there's absolutely no reason to believe that's the case for AI. In fact,
Really?
we're facing the situation right now.
How do you know?
There's never anything that is completely perfect.
Well, that's the issue. That's why
No.
we need to do more than what we're doing now.
Again, it's the good guy's AI, which is superior, to the bad guy's AI.
That's like saying that the way to stop a bad guy with a bioweapon is to have a good guy with a bioweapon. That's not what you do. This way you stop a bioweapon attack is with vaccines and banning bioweapons and having various forms of regulation and control.
Next, Max asks Melanie what I think is a reasonable question: why the product maker isn't responsible for proving their product is safe before they release it to the general public.
But why is it our role to explain to you why it's dangerous? You still haven't answered my
I never
question.
said
I've
it
asked you
wasn't
twice.
dangerous.
I've asked you twice. What is your plan for avoiding misuse? You haven't told me. I've asked you twice. What's your plan for solving the alignment problem?
think-
You haven't told me. I've asked you twice. Let me just finish to tell me what your plan is for avoiding the scenario where we get outcompeted and disempowerment. You've said nothing.
Unfortunately, I don't get paid enough to solve all these problems about AI policy.
medicine,
But I think
you have to have a plan.
I don't
have to
have a
explain why
plan.
it's
I think the AI community is developing plans to mitigate risks.
I think the community is developing plans to mitigate risks, she says. Is developing plans? This is like saying we'll figure out how to make landing gear mid-flight. We are already currently cruising as a world at 30,000 feet in a plane with no landing gear. The pilots already said, fuck it, let's just take off. We'll figure out landing gear mid-flight. We're hurtling through the air, no landing gear, and no knowledge of when we actually need to land, no knowledge of the timing. But the pilots are saying, please stay calm. Do enjoy your snack and beverage service. It's nuts. Let's get back to the debate where Yoshua channels my inner spirit and tells Melanie, you're wrong.
They might want to preserve their existence.
They don't want to do anything. They're not alive.
No, that's very easy to do. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. The systems that, for example, ChatGPT is essentially like an oracle. It doesn't really have a want, although a little bit it wants to please us because of the reinforcement learning. Yes, it's been trained to please us. Then it's actually easy to put a wrapper around them to turn them into agents that have goals. It's actually easy to do.
Goals that humans gave them.
Yes.
Not their own goals.
Yes, and in order to achieve those goals, they're going to have sub-goals and those sub-goals, for example, may include things like deception.
Okay. Finally, in one last-ditch effort, Melanie Mitchell tries to drop, well, the people I talk to all think just like I do, and they all think everything is fine too.
You say you talk to the people you talk to in AI have this belief. Well, the people I talk to in AI don't have that belief. I think the field is quite split, I would say. And I think there's quite
Flip a coin at 50% that we all gonna die.
Well,
To any of the people who signed this letter saying that this is an existential risk?
there's many people who have signed letters saying they think it's an existential risk. They don't say over what time scale.
Yeah, but this was
They
Jeff
don't-
Hinton. the
Yeah,
CEO
Jeff
of the
Hinton
company.
is a godfather, but he doesn't know everything.
You don't talk to him.
Yeah, I think that he's a smart guy, but I think that a lot of people have way overhyped the risk of these things, and that's really convinced a lot of the general public that this is what we should be focusing on, not the more immediate harms of AI.
Overhyped. Science fiction. Just another Y2K. Just like the invention of the typewriter. Please tell me in the comments if you think these arguments made by Melanie and Yann are not total bullshit. Maybe I'm missing something. But I find them not only to be incredibly weak, I find them to be deceptive and manipulative. The audience at the end of the Munk debate was asked to vote for who they thought won. By a score of 67 to 33, they decided that Max and Yoshua were more convincing than Melanie and Yann. So I hope you got a lot out of that debate. I would encourage you to go to the Munk Debate's website. They have a variety of debates on a lot of really interesting subjects, and they're all exceptionally well done, just like that debate was. So for 6 weeks now, I've been putting out a podcast per week, and as I said, I'm really encouraged by the response I've been getting. The question is, who will win this battle for humanity? The accelerationists like Yann Lecun, Melanie Mitchell, and Sam Altman, or the decelerationist like Max Tegmark? Currently, if it was an NFL football game, I think the score would be something like 45-3 accelerationists. Acceleration is dominating in funding, progress, and talent. The game is in the second half, but we don't know when the whistle is going to blow to say that the game is over. The odds could not be worse. The situation could not be more dire. You, me, and everyone else alive right now can either be blindly let off a cliff, or we can work to have a voice in this, work to learn what is happening and what is to come, and do anything and everything we can to give our children a future. So next week, we're going to do something really different. Our show aims to move this debate from tech, YouTube, and X into the family dinner table conversation. I think the voice of parents is sorely missing from this debate. As a parent myself, I can tell you I've often said that if I was standing on a street corner and my son or daughter was next to me and a bus was coming at us and they were falling into the path of the bus and I could pull them back and I would have to fall and be killed by the bus instead of them, that I would see them falling towards the street corner to safety, I would fall myself into the street knowing the bus was about to hit me, and I would do so with a big smile on my face, knowing I'd saved the life of my child, right? That is how parents are. Parents will do anything to protect their kids. Well, my fellow parents, it hurts me deeply to tell you that your children are under a threat more grave than any threat faced by any children ever before. Mine are too. Parents, there is an intruder in your home. There is an intruder in your school. It came from Silicon Valley. It is an alien, and it doesn't care about anything that you care about. So next week, I'm going to talk to 3 moms who are totally new to this AI safety debate, just 3 regular moms who, through this podcast, have become aware of this most grave threat to their families. I want to know how it feels to know that this biggest threat hasn't even been on their radar. What they think about a few thousand people in Silicon Valley who are more than comfortable risking the mass murder of every child on Earth. And how these moms plan to go forward, knowing what they now know. Should be an interesting show for sure. Thank you so much for watching. For Humanity, I'm John Sherman. I'll see you back here next week.